Okay, I am jumping right in today. It is the week following Christmas, if you're listening to this episode when it's released. And the holidays used to cause me so much stress. Okay, on the one hand, I absolutely loved spending time with my family, having time off of work, buying gifts for everybody, and enjoying good food, I have to admit. On the other hand, it was like, oh crap. I'm going to spend time with my family. I've got time off of work, so I'm home with all the temptations, all the food. There's a lot to get accomplished. And once Christmas was over and all the excitement and the hype had ended, I was like, everything that I had planned to do in terms of goals with weight loss and feeling better and turning over a new leaf, I just ruined it. Like, I felt like I ruined it all during the couple of weeks or the month leading up to Christmas. I know that some of you listening to this totally get it, right? So once like the day after Christmas hit, it brought on a whole different level of stress. And each day after that, the stress just compounded. You know, like I said, it was like the hype was over. The space under the Christmas tree was empty. I had to deal with putting away Christmas decorations, which has its own kind of stress, right? But even more like having an impact on me in a heavier way was the fact that like my stomach felt bloated. I felt like such a glutton for having overeaten all the food. And I did. I used to eat way too much, and not just on Christmas Day, for weeks leading up to it. It was like I said yes to one temptation, and that rolled into me saying yes to another and another and another. And finally, I just like felt so bad mentally and physically that it was almost like I couldn't stop. And then right after Christmas, it would be this huge letdown and like slap in the face that I had ruined everything. And so like, why try now, right? And I think it was even worse because before Christmas, I had a to-do list and I was super busy, and that kept me really distracted, right? And then once all of those distractions ended, thoughts just started flooding my head. Like, I just ruined all my effort trying to eat healthy. What's the point now? I may as well just quit trying. It was like, it's like all or nothing, right? And that kind of thinking took me even down a darker hole of like, what the hell? So typically what happened is I went from feeling bad about it to feeling worse and then falling off the rails completely. And I just ate like a starved animal for the next 3 days or 3 weeks or 3 months. Have you been there, right? Like, some of you are probably throwing up praise hands right now. Well, here's what I want you to take away from today's episode. No matter what you ate on Christmas or in the last week or in the last month, you really didn't ruin anything. What you need to focus on is the very next decision that you make, because that's really all that matters. You really do have the power to completely change that trajectory of thinking, of the actions that you take, of what the next 3 months look like. So really think about choosing your thoughts really wisely, which helps you to control your emotions. And when your emotions are more under control, then you can act more accordingly with what it is that you want to accomplish. Women in my 12-week metabolic coaching program get this early on, right? I get so excited from them because early on they realize that they can break the cycle of this thinking. And that way, the holidays or even, summer or whatever celebrations they have coming on in life, they can get control of that. And those things never control their thoughts and their emotions this way again. And so a few things that you can put in place practically, just small steps that you can take, I want you to try this over the next week or so. It'll help you to kind of, stop going down that black hole of that negative thinking like you've destroyed everything, and take a baby step toward feeling a little bit better, getting a little bit of the bloat off, feeling a little bit better about after the holidays have ended, and even like really strategically dropped some bloat. Even you might even drop a few pounds by getting some inflammation under control, and kind of de-escalating that path, right? So here are a few things you can do. One is just drink tons of water. I know it seems like you hear this over and over, but the truth is that you need to get water hydration in consistently. And over the course of time, the goal is, people will say things like, drink 8 glasses of water, drink half your body weight in water. Whatever that is, ultimately you'll get there. But if you focus on right now just drinking more water than you did yesterday, you're going to do yourself a huge favor, because ultimately, and here was my point about this, ultimately, your goal is to hydrate your body on a cellular level. And that does take time. But it starts with you drinking more water today than you did yesterday. And then in a couple of days, increase that amount by another 8 or 10 ounces. And then do that for a few days. Because when you just go from drinking very little water to trying to drink like 8-ounce glasses or a gallon or whatever you've seen on the internet doing some water challenge, when you do that, all your body does is slough that water off. You're just going to end up going to the bathroom a bunch of times during the night. You're going to be miserably feeling full, hearing water slosh around, because your body just eliminates the water. It doesn't know how to effectively use the water yet. But if you drink water in small incremental increases, then your body can actually absorb it. And once you get your body absorbing the water and using it more effectively to help your digestion, to help your skin cells, to help hydrate once you get to that level, you're actually training your body to use the water on a cellular level. And that's what we're really after. So just start a little bit at a time. Increase your water each couple of days this week. Another thing that you can do is, just because you've eaten all the things for the last month doesn't mean you have to continue to eat all the things. Do a little, I don't like to use the word detox, but I'll use it here. Do a little sugar detox for yourself. And what I mean by using that word is not really like detoxifying your system in the sense that you hear people talk about. I just mean like back off the sugar. Just don't eat all the cookies. Don't eat. And if you need to get them out of your house, then give them away. Throw them in the trash if you need to. I saw when I went into our client group, I have a private client group that's only for the women that I'm coaching one-on-one. And when I went in there and checked on them, actually it was earlier this morning, one of the women posted that she's really proud of the fact that she threw away of the rest of the cookies, that her family had come and they'd done all of their celebrations, and what was left over she just tossed. Do that, or give them to a neighbor or whatever. If you get them out of your house, you're much less likely to eat them, just grabbing one off the counter or out of the pantry when you go in there because you're bored or just because they're there, right? People say, well, I don't want to waste the food. Well, then give them away. But because you don't want to waste them doesn't mean that you have to inhale them, right? So, and I use cookies as an example, but give your body a break from the sugar. So that's 2 steps. Number 3, and this doesn't have anything to do with your intake, but it has to do with your mental intake. Don't step on the scale. Just don't weigh. There is no good that is going to come from standing on that scale a couple of days after Christmas. So I would say don't step on that scale for a week at least. Take some of these other steps. Give your body a chance to kind of get rid of the bloat, reduce some of the inflammation, get some of the sugar out of your system, get your hydration going, your digestion system going, and then wait a week or 2 maybe before you stand on the scale. It will be so much better mentally than standing on the scale, looking at the number that's gone up, and it has probably increased from, not really that you've gained fat in just a couple of days, but it is the water retention, the sugar, the inflammation, all of that kind of stuff that's going to cause that scale number to go up. But it plays a game with your head, and there's no reason to put yourself through that kind of just, a beating. It can literally be like a mental beating, and there's no reason to do that. And then you start, having those negative thoughts about yourself, and why did I, and I shouldn't have, and yada yada yada. Just don't stand on the scale, right? What is the actual need for standing on that scale anyway? So don't stand on it. You're going to feel better, trust me. Another thing that you can do over this next week is just go for a walk. If the weather is nice enough that you can get outside, go for a 10-minute walk, get some fresh air in. You will feel so much better if you can do that once a day for 10 minutes. If you can do it for longer than 10 minutes, like, more power to you. But even in a 10-minute walk, you're going to be doing yourself a lot of good during this time when you may have been off of work, and you may have not gotten as much just normal kind of activity in your life because of just celebrating and sitting around and doing things like that. 10 minutes a day of just getting out and walking can do a body good. I promise. It's not milk that does a body good. It's 10 minutes of walking each day. So those are 4 quick things that you can take action on right now if you feel like you've just kind of, really done yourself in over the last week or 4. And you can kind of start off, even before the new year, start off by just feeling a little bit better health-wise and taking just a few really simple steps toward improving your health. So I hope that's helpful. I appreciate you spending time with me this afternoon, and I will see you right back here next time.